Hello, everybody. I'm your host, Mike Downer, and thanks for joining us on the Iowa Conversation. I am here with Ryan Frederick-Gill, the owner and funeral director of Celebrate Life Iowa. How are we doing today, Ryan?
Good, Mike. I hope you're well too.
Doing great. So today we're going to be talking about what actually happens during the cremation process. So this is going to be a very interesting episode. So what we're going to be discussing is what is the step-by-step cremation process and how Celebrate Life Iowa's self-owned crematory ensures quality and dignity. So, Ryan, what I'd like to ask you is how does Celebrate Life Iowa ensure proper identification throughout the cremation process?
Absolutely, Mike. That is a great question. We do get a lot of different questions from Iowa families when it comes to cremation, and that's always kind of one of them is how do we know this is really mama, dad, grandma? The other one is do you only cremate one body at a time? So kind of we'll start by, when we go get an individual into our care, whether it be a house, whether it be a hospital, hospice house, nursing home, if that body does not have identification on it, somebody from the hospital staff or the medical examiner staff, or even the family, will confirm that that is who it is supposed to be. If there is not identification on that individual, we do place a tag around an ankle or a wrist. And then from there, with spelling, name, what funeral home it is, and of ours it is. And then from there, that individual has that tag on at all times. Once we deliver to the crematory, there is a receiving receipt that our staff members are going to complete. It's going to have the person's name, date, time of death, where they passed away out, and then we document any personal belongings that they have on them. The other thing that we're going to be checking for is a pacemaker. Pacemakers do have to be removed prior to the cremation. They will cause an explosion otherwise, so pacemakers are going to be removed. We personally Celebrate Life Iowa, we do not charge any extra for that pacemaker removal. Some funeral homes do. And then from there, we're going to give an identification number from the crematory to that body as well, or that individual. And it's going to have a special identification number on it. It's also going to say our crematory's name and then give them a number. We're going to document that number, name, weight, where they passed away out, date of death in our cremation logbook. Then from there, when they do get cremated, we actually put the date and the time that they are cremated as well. And then after that individual is placed in either the temporary urn or the urn that the individual has, the family has selected after the cremation process, the bag of the cremated remains does have that identification number on it. And then we're going to provide a cremation certificate to that family as well, saying the individual's name, the day they passed, where they passed away at, and then from there, the date that they were cremated at. And then when we do give those back to the loved one's family, from there they have to sign saying they are accepting them as well. So there's documentation and tracking throughout the entire system. And again, Iowa law, only one individual cremated at a time, and absolutely to the T we follow that.
That is, that's a big peace of mind for a lot of families. I know it would be for me. So, I love hearing the fact that you take such care to ensure that the remains are of their loved one. Um,
Absolutely.
Ryan, what preparations are required before a body is cremated?
So the preparation that would be required would literally be from there to make sure they have identification on. It is state law.
Yeah,
And then again, we follow that to the T and we have all the tracking to prove it. And then they do have to be placed in a box or a container or even a casket. So again, to be physically put into a crematory, you have to be in some type of box. The minimum would be a heavy duty cardboard box, all the way up to a solid wood casket. We have cremated a metal casket, but literally afterwards, the remnants of the metal casket need to go to the landfill. So, in my
yeah,
personal opinion, there's not a lot of benefit to it.
right. No, that makes complete sense. Um, so I know you were talking about, the remains and if they do go into a metal container. So what are the temperature and equipment standards used in a modern cremation chamber?
Yeah, so the 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 cremation chamber does need to be 1400 degrees before you put an individual in. There's two different burners in a crematory. One is going to be the afterburner. The second would be the cremation burner. So the afterburner is going to be the one that heats it up to that 1400 degrees. Once you get over that, you can put an individual in the crematory. It takes typically about 35 more minutes, and then the cremation burner will kick on, and it'll cycle on and cycle off. And what that does is that helps the unit keep from having any smoke, and it helps it burn clean. So you see the temperature go up and down. Typically, it is ranging between that 1400 and 1800 degrees, kind of cycling up and down when that cremation burner kicks on and off.
So I know a lot of people are just curious. I mean, what happens during the actual cremation process?
Absolutely. So, what happens with the actual cremation process is any tissue would actually burn off from the individual's bones. When you open the crematory after a cremation, you typically see the skeletal structure. We're going to sweep everything out extremely good. Once we get it out, then we take that bone structure, which is going to be very brittle, and then we actually process it into the ash that you think of, that most people think of, being put in an urn. So it is processed in to make it a fine ash versus having the bigger bone structures after the cremation.
No, that makes complete sense because that's something that, I had no idea. I think a lot of people in their minds think, oh, once they go in and you've got a pile of ashes. And so that's a very good piece of information. And again, I always learn a lot every time we have our conversations.
Yeah.
Um,
That
so
process,
how
start to finish, is about 4 hours too, just so everybody knows, Mike. So that's
four
typical.
4 hours?
Yep.
Yeah, that's actually, in my opinion, relatively quick.
Mhm.
Um, so that's not bad at all. How are the remains processed and returned to the family after cremation?
Yep, absolutely. So again, they would be processed through our processor to make it into that fine ash, and then from there we would place those ashes in a baggie and then seal that baggie with that identification number from the crematory, and then place that bag of ash in at minimum a temporary urn. Some people still bury in it. We personally give every family, if they don't select an urn, a black box that is, some call it a temporary urn, but again, a lot of people still bury in it. It is stands up about 8.5 inches. It's probably about 5 inches deep and about 6 inches wide. We would attach that cremation certificate right to the front of that urn. If they have selected a fancier urn, whether it's a wood urn, then from there, that cremation certificate would be on the bottom. If it's a metal urn, a lot of those metal urns, the top twists on and off. Again, we would still keep those ashes in a baggie, and then put that cremation certificate right on the inside of the urn for the family.
So you and I have had a kind of a side conversation. I'm going to go a little off topic. When it does come to processing and returning the ashes to the family, does Celebrate Life Iowa ever adhere to special requests?
Well, I've heard your special request, Mike. Why don't you tell what it all is? And the answer is yes. I'm glad to do it.
Well, I always, like I said, as you can see by my picture in the background, there's Frank Sinatra right there. I'm a big fan of Jack Daniels, and so I have a big Jack Daniels bottle, one of the 1.75 liters, and then I'm gonna get like 100 little airplane Jack Daniels bottles. And I'd like those filled, and then the whole thought behind that is everybody can take one as they want, and as they travel, then they can scatter me all over the world. So would something like that be too far out of line for Celebrate Life Iowa?
It is not at all. I mean, that's a very simple request. We have certainly done liquor bottles in the past. And literally last week, we did bury an individual in a Hawkeye whiskey decanter. And so, again, the family gave me permission to share the photo with you, as you and I were just on this topic. And I will be glad to do it. You'll be very impressed with it, as was I. And, one of those funny things is we were literally just had that conversation, and then that urn came in. So it was pretty good timing.
That see, to me, that's just amazing that, what I mean, obviously within legal standards and, everything else, that you are willing to just kind of take on anything that, means something to the individual and the family.
And that is right. And we pride ourselves in that. And actually, this upcoming weekend, we are getting ready to have a service at the Iowa State Fairgrounds inside of the sheep barn show ring. This individual was showing sheep for 60 years of his life. And again, we're going to have it catered. We're going to have a keg. We're going to have seating that we're going to need to set up and take down. We're going to need music equipment. We're going to be and a bagpiper will be there. So again, we've lined this up,
Wow.
we've coordinated it. And I think we're going to see more and more celebrations of life that I would call non-traditional, but again, it has a huge a huge meaning to the family. And we're glad to be a part of those unique services as well as any service that a family entrusts us with their loved one.
That's amazing. So when the remains do come back, what should families expect in terms of weight of cremated remains? How much is that going to weigh?
The average set of cremated remains is about 8 pounds. Obviously, if you get a metal urn or a wood urn, it can add a little weight to that. But everybody always does say, "Boy, these are heavier than I thought they would be."
Yeah. No, I'm a little bit familiar with that, and it really does kind of shock you thinking that it's just ashes,
Mhm.
but so a bigger guy like me is probably more like 10 pounds.
So again, it goes off bone structure. No matter how wide you are, everybody still probably has about the same bone structure. Unless you're 7 feet tall, you're going to have a lot more ash. I mean, there's no doubt about that one.
There are some days that I think I'm 7 feet tall, Ryan. Maybe after too many of those Jack Daniels.
Yeah.
So how does Celebrate Life Iowa maintain quality assurance and transparency in cremation services?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we pride ourselves in our staff and everybody has been trained efficiently. I think we're very effective as well on, I have been blessed with staff that loves to work. I love to work. We love to serve. I mean, to be in this industry, it is a calling. You have to love what you do. And again, statistically, anybody that graduates from mortuary school to become a funeral director is out of the industry 5 years later. 75% of people that graduate are no longer in the industry 5 years later. Those of us that stick around, this is what God made us to do, and we are here serving. And I have just been blessed with good staff that loves to serve, loves to work. We work all hours of the night. We work weekends, we work holidays. And again, it's not for everybody, but my staff, we come together and help families in their time of their need. All throughout Iowa, we cover 99 counties. When we get a call, one or two of us are on the road within 30 minutes typically. And this is what we were meant to do and meant to help people. And we're blessed to be a part of Celebrate Life Iowa, both with our offices in West Des Moines and also in North Liberty. And we're proud to cover all of Iowa and offer affordable cremation, Mike.
And remind us again, how many years have you been doing this?
Well, I graduated mortuary school almost 26 years ago. That'll be in November. But again, I grew up in a funeral home. So you count the years and tell me how long it's been, and I wouldn't argue with you.
You know what? I definitely put my trust in you. And after hearing this conversation today, I believe my family will feel very comfortable when my time comes for you to throw me in those Jack Daniels bottles, and they'll know it's me that they're doing it with. So again, Ryan, thank you so much for answering some very hard questions. It's never easy, but always informative. And I love your decorum and your care that you take with families. So I just want to let you know we all appreciate that.
Wow. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And it's been a great conversation today. And I'm now glad the rest of the world knows how you want to be buried, and your family's going to know because you just told them. So
I'm not sure that I wanted to share that. But that's, you know what? It's kind of a fun story. So I hope it entertains some people, and I look forward to our next talk, Ryan.
thanks, Mike. I appreciate it. You have a good day.
Hey,